Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. On today's episode, let's take a look at taking time-lapse photography with your iPhone. So this past weekend, I used my iPhone to take time-lapse photography of what was supposed to be a big snowstorm on Saturday. It didn't really snow all that much, but I got a nice day in the life of the park near my house. And you can see the snow build up over time. Now I know a lot of people like to take time-lapse photography like this, especially when you can post it to social networks and share it with your friends. It's kind of neat. So let me show you how I did this. First thing to do is to think about the device you're using. For instance, I use my old iPhone 4S. I still have it as a backup, though I use my iPhone 5, of course, for everything every day. So I don't need the iPhone 4S. It was easy for me to set it up in a window and have it take pictures all day. Now you may want to think about that too. Can you do without your iPhone all day? Maybe you have an iPhone and an iPad, but you can do without one of them all day. So you want to think about what you're going to use. Second thing you want to think about is how to hold it steady. It's got to be held perfectly steady throughout the time lapse. It's nice to mount it on a tripod, but there's no tripod mount on an iPhone or iPad. But you can get an adapter. Now I like to use this one. This is one, usually you can find it if you search for Case Star, although I've seen this part as part of different kits and different tripods and all sorts of things. So you can see it a lot of different places. But if you search like Amazon for Case Star, this one comes up. And I like this one because I bought it years ago. Matter of fact, I bought it all the way back for the iPhone 3GS, and the case on the iPhone has changed several times, but because of the way this one snaps the iPhone into it, it doesn't matter. It works with all the old iPhones, it works with the current iPhone, and it will probably work with iPhones well into the future. A lot of the other ones you buy specifically fit a certain model of iPhone. So you get a new iPhone, you're going to have to get a new way to mount it to a tripod. Now if you don't have a tripod, a great thing about the current iPhone is the fact that it's got a flat edge to it. So you can actually sit it in a windowsill and it will actually stay there. And for other iPhones and iPads you can find a way to kind of lean it against something or maybe put it in between a few objects just to hold it in place for your time lapse. Now you're going to need an app to be able to take the time lapse. Now the one I chose out of the many in the App Store was one called Lapse-It, and I use Lapse-It Pro. And this app has all the settings I needed. I can go into settings here and I was able to change the frame interval, time scale, and the resolution. I chose 1080. You can actually do the full sensor, which will take very large photos, and it's good for a short time lapse, but something like 1080 or 720 is going to be fine since you're probably going to make a video anyway, and you don't want to have to worry about space on your iPhone as it fills up with images. So I have it here taking an image every 10 seconds. I like that I could also set it for a schedule, so I was able to set it to actually start at sunrise. So I set it up the night before, set it to start at sunrise, and I just didn't have to worry about getting up early to start the time lapse. And then you have a lot of other settings here. You can encode it to an MP4 file, for instance. And it was time to go. I was able to go to the capture screen, and you can hit that red button at the upper left to start a capture. And you can see all the settings there and actually change them there at the last second. There are plenty of settings, even focus and exposure settings, especially if you think the lighting and things are going to change over time as the time lapse takes place. And I like that you can actually just kind of watch the screen as it's taking the photos. If I start a capture here, you can see it can say it's going to delay the 3 seconds to start, and then it just took one frame there, and after the 10th second it will take the second frame in the time lapse. So you can see exactly how it's progressing, and I can pause and stop, and once I've stopped then I can preview the project. Then I can view my gallery of projects. So I can just do that short one I just did, and I can actually look at the details, but I can also render it or zip it into a zip file and then sync with iTunes to get all the photos off of it. So what I used was one frame every 10 seconds, and that gave me about 2.5 minutes of video at 30 frames per second when it was all done. It took a while. It took about 20 minutes for it to render all of those photos. There was something just over 4,000 photos into an MP4 video. But I was really happy with the result, and I plan on taking more time-lapse photography when I get the chance. Hope you found this useful. Till next time, this is Gary with MacMost Now. If you found this video useful, there's one thing you can do for me in return. It won't cost you anything and it will just take you a few seconds. If you're not already at MacMost.com, go there and then look for the video you just watched and go to that page. Underneath the video you'll see a bunch of different links that help you share the video with friends. Take a second to click the like button. This sends a signal out to the rest of the internet that the video is worth watching. Thanks.